Welcome to the Let's Debrief podcast. Happy Wednesday, everyone.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Jenna. I hope you all are having a great middle of your week.
Yes.
A hump day.
Hump day. The way that commercial took over the internet and the world for literally years to come.
I didn't even know it was a commercial. I thought it was just like something that people said.
I need my notebook. I'm leaving that in because that was a great intro. It's a commercial of a camel. And he's what day is it?
What company?
Hump day. I don't know. I'll look it up. Oh,
they must not have done a very good job of.
Because you haven't heard of it.
You don't know. No, because you don't know the company it goes for.
Hump day commercial.
At least with Burger King, like
Geico.
Whopper, double Whopper. You know what it is.
Yes.
You know?
It was a Geico commercial.
Oh, of course.
I don't know why.
Do you have Geico?
No.
Me either. What do you have?
What is it? Is it health or it's car insurance?
Yeah.
Oh, USAA.
Oh, I have Erie.
Do you like it?
I love it, actually. So I love our guy. He's just like literally a guy in our hometown that does Erie insurance, and we bundled our house. We bundled our house, car, and business insurance, and he's just awesome. Like,
that's amazing.
Leading into our topic today, which is talking about weddings, a lot of like things now with weddings like require you to have business insurance, and they want like a certificate of your insurance, but it has to have the venue name on it for each different venue.
Oh my gosh.
So I will send him like dates and the venue name, and he'll send me the certificate back, and then I send it to the venue. So he's on it, which
That's
I
amazing.
love.
We got, again, I think USAA is like a military thing. So my grandpa was in the military and my dad got this insurance, and then he can pass it down to us. And so we have my car insurance through there, and then they also do loans, and so like we financed our car through that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I think I had renter's insurance through there at one point. But I had business insurance for one wedding last year. It was at the aviary, and they were like, we need your business insurance. And I was like, I think I remember calling you, and I was like, Jenna, I don't have business insurance. What is it? Da, 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 da. And literally never asked me for it once.
Okay.
Bought it and everything. And I was like, this is so frustrating.
How much was it for just like one day?
Oh, well, no, I had to purchase it for the year. So it was like $250 for the year, which obviously in the grand scheme of things is fine. Like, it's not a bad deal.
Interesting. Okay, ours is a lot more than that, but it also insures our gear. So if something breaks, they'll
really nice.
replace it. But there is a $500 deductible. But like if it's a $5,000 camera, it's all good.
Yeah.
But that is very interesting. A lot of people have asked me the same thing about business insurance. They're like, they're asking for it. What do I do? And like a lot of people have been like, I never did anything, and they never asked. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the one a couple asked me like within the last year. It wasn't the same couple as like the one I bought it for, but I kid you not, my business insurance had just expired, and they're like, hey, our venue, or actually it wasn't even their venue, it was like the place that they needed to stop and take photos at, needed it, like a proof of insurance. And it was like, it can be your business insurance or like your renters or like house insurance. And I was like, hey dad, can I have the house insurance?
They just put it up against your house. Someone like, I don't even know really. I guess they need it so that like if you fall or something, then you're not gonna sue them.
I don't know.
But you're like, I fell. They're like, we're taking the house. Oh no,
we're using this as collateral.
Yes, literally.
That's so funny. But yeah, is it a scam? Definitely not. But I, in my experience, just haven't needed it yet. And it's been super annoying.
Yeah. Okay. So do we want to just jump into the topic? Do you want to give any updates? Your poison ivy's doing better.
Much better. Thank you for everyone that was worried. Because at this point, it's been 2 weeks since we talked about it. I went and had my steroid cream. I think I talked about that on the last episode. And she is healing. She's on the road to recovery. And so by the time you're listening to this, I will probably be back from Florida, which we're going to Florida next week to surprise my dad for his, I was going to say his 24th birthday, please. His birthday's on the 24th.
Oh my gosh, that'll be so
45th,
fun.
I think. And so, yeah, we're surprising him and just enjoying the week down in Florida. Literally the most inexpensive for us vacation, just so it's easy to go. Also, Hopefully this pans out, but while we're there, we will be getting the lowest Disney pass.
Fun.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's the lowest Disney pass, which again, you have to be a Florida resident, and hopefully I'm not outing myself by doing this. All you, like, they ask, like, I'm like, all you have to do is move to Florida.
Allegedly.
I am allegedly just changing my billing address to my parents they will accept like a form, like a credit card statement. And if it says Ashley Eckberg and like the address, allegedly, they will be like, all right, you're a Florida resident.
Yeah, that's like what they'll even do at the DMV is like, if you need to change your address, they're like, just bring in mail.
Yeah, exactly.
With the address and your name on it. And you're like, okay.
So, yeah, the lowest pass is $400. Every single time Cole and I have gone for one day for 2 tickets, it's been $330.
Ashley.
And so I'm just like, I hate this.
Wait, can you use your past trips towards the pass or no?
No. The only way you can do that is if like if day of, like you want to, like you already spent $330 and then the same day
you go up to the
counter and be like, can I put this towards the pass? And they're like, yep, you only owe $100. Like,
okay.
So the lowest pass is like $400. They require you to put $200 down day of. The monthly payments after that are $18 a month.
And it will be this full year?
It'll be the calendar year. The lowest one has like a lot of blackout dates, but we can just plan around when we want to go.
Yeah, like
so
you're just like, not gonna go for like Christmas or
no,
whatever.
We're not good. Yeah, we're blocked out for the holidays and then like spring break and stuff. But it's like, okay, cool. I didn't want to go during the busy seasons, anyways. That's so cute. So that's a life update. Hopefully that all works out. And they don't be like, we know you're not a resident. Because I would love to save some money.
So true. How much is it if you're not a resident?
They make you pay for the highest pass and in full. And so the highest pass is like at least $1,200 and you have to pay it all at one time.
Ew.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I know.
Wait, it should be less if you're out of state because you're coming in less.
That's true.
Using it less.
They just really want to discourage people like from having it, I guess, that are not residents. So in theory, I could get passes in both places since I still have my grandma's address as well. I'm a California resident as well. So
I love that for you.
Yeah. So hopefully that all works out.
I have an update that I forgot to say last week. It's, I guess, not an update, but I just would like to clear his name. So a few episodes ago, we did settle the argument. And I presented some scenarios that Tanner, that we argue about. And when he was listening to the episode, he reminded me that I had mistaken some things. And
oh, no.
He's very upset that he says that he looks like an idiot now. Everyone thinks he's an idiot. They think he's a stupid idiot.
I thought that of him.
Yeah. So, okay. If you've listened to the episode, I said that we had an argument about if you could warm up a burger on the Texas
I knew
concrete.
It was going to be this one and it wasn't going to be cardboard.
It's also the cardboard.
Okay.
So the warming up the burger, apparently the real argument was if you could cook the burger. And he said that you couldn't, and I said you could.
I still think you can.
You could cook it, but so he was like obviously you could warm it up. I'm not an idiot. So he made clear his name on that. And then the other one is the cardboard. I said that he won't set the cardboard out for the trash man, which he won't. But he did say that he doesn't pay to have the trash truck come to pick up the cardboard. He pays to have it come and get like other trash that's not accepted at other places, such as our old microwave, other things. And then if there's room, he throws the cardboard in as well. So he's saying, like, when I said he pays for a truck to come, he pays $100 and they take the cardboard away all at once.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I don't do that. It's for other trash, and then
just throw the cardboard
in. And he said that he takes the cardboard to a facility
and doesn't pay there.
Doesn't pay for cardboard, but you have to pay if you drop other stuff off.
Okay. If anything, which I feel like I saw a TikTok about this, you should be getting paid for the cardboard. Like, it's a form of recycling.
Yes.
Like, if you go recycle, like, bottles and cans.
They took the recycling center out of Ligonier. There's no recycling.
because I think after that episode, Cole was like, well, Ligonier doesn't recycle. And I was like, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Which
there
is
used
so
to be
dumb.
a whole thing. And like when I was growing up, me and my parents would always go drop off the recycling.
It was a fun activity as a kid because like my parents would always be like, all right, we save up our bottles and cans and then like we put this towards our cruise money or like whatever.
It's like $3 each
yeah,
time.
we're like, yeah, soda on the cruise.
Literally. But yeah, so I'm just clearing his name. He's
not a stupid idiot like we made him out to be.
I still stand by that you can put the cardboard out for the trash man, but whatever.
I digress.
Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about wedding horror stories.
Oh yeah, baby.
So we are both wedding photographers and we have accumulated a lot of situations. You guys apparently also have a lot of situations as well. So you guys told us your stories from guest point of view, from being the bride, from photographer point of view, being a vendor. So we have lots of stories that you guys send in for us. We also have a few stories. Ashley definitely has more than mine.
Yes. Which I did share one of the worst ones in my solo episode, talking about my first time second shooting. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to What's Up Freaks. What's Up Freaks? In short, first time second shooting, solo photographer or first lead shooter had to leave because his wife went into labor and I was left to be the main photographer. So go back and listen to the full in-depth story. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. I will try to keep this as condensed as possible. I'm sure I will leave out details, but one of genuinely the worst thing that has happened to me in the wedding industry was this story, and it was my first year. I wasn't a full-time photographer. I'm still not a full-time photographer. It was dipping my toes into like, would I want this for my life? Just kind of seeing what it was all about. Anyways. The other fellow photographer was like, hey, I can't shoot this wedding anymore. It's basically an elopement. Like, can you do it? I'll put you in contact with the mom and the mother of the bride. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And for 4 hours, also 2 hours away from my house, she was like, so-and-so's rate. She was talking to a guy before, the photographer before him. We'll call him Bill. And she was like, Bill's rate was $800. Like, can you do that? And again, I don't know anything. And so I'm like, $800. And I was probably like 22 at the time. Yeah. So I was like, of course I can. Like, that's amazing. And that would be the worst $800 that I've ever received. Like,
she gave that $800 back because it was so horrible.
I was like, please. And so again, because I'm so new, I didn't have a contract or anything. And I go to the wedding. The day of the wedding, they're like these 30-year-old people. Like, the bride and groom are like in their mid to late 30s. And they've been.
If you just heard me crunching.
And they've been together for like 10 years. They're from California, and they were I don't even know why they were in Pittsburgh, like getting married. And not even Pittsburgh, because it was 2 hours away in just like this random town. And so they were like, it almost seemed like it was just a formality thing. And I was like, okay. And no day of coordinator. The bride didn't want getting ready photos. She did not care. Like,
so you're like, this is the most chill experience.
I was like, this is great. So much so that I just like, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so like, I just go sit at the bar and I'm like, can I just have a glass of water? And I'm just like sitting there. And this guy sits next to me and he's like, are you like shooting the wedding? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I'm playing guitar. Do you know like anything that's happening? And I was like, no, like I know nothing. Like, I've been given nothing. And he was like, okay. And so we both are kind of just like joking and like with each other of like, okay, like I'll follow your lead, like whatever.
Again, giving the illusion that these people are extremely low maintenance, not specific about what they're looking for.
I hadn't spoken to the bride until the day of, and probably minutes before she walked down the aisle, just because the mom was like handling everything. So I got no timeline. I just knew I think I was there from like 4 to 8 or something like that. And
you're like,
so
whatever happens in that time,
whatever. So naive. And so she saying hi to family. She gets ready to walk down the aisle and she looks at me and she's like, should I go? And I'm like, I don't know. no. And so like, anyways, the ceremony happens, family photos happen, or there's like a minor reception. Like, again, just think of the most chill, like, experience. And so
did you do photos of just them as well?
She changed out of her wedding dress.
Oh, I remember this. You were like, do you want to? And she was like, no, I changed.
Also, they disappeared for like an hour of the 4-hour coverage. And like, it was after the ceremony. Like, we all know what they were doing. It was at a hotel. They just like slipped away. And then,
can I just say, that's actually the move.
Oh, if it wouldn't have been Cole and I don't know if I've said this before, but if it wouldn't have been Cole and I's first time, like, I would not. Or I would have done that. Like, slipped away.
It's just at the end of your wedding night, you are so exhausted. It's just like, obviously, like, you want to, but you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. But like right after the high of the ceremony, it would just be perfect.
Yeah. So they disappear. And I think when she comes back, she didn't do any of the reception in her wedding dress. And so I was like, okay, did you want photos? And she was like, yeah, I guess. And so I like take them outside.
What is she wearing now?
Literally, like, I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm pretty sure I had this same Target dress in like 2009 as like an 8th grader.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it white?
No. It was like black and just like floral pattern. Not floor length or anything. And again, so you can understand where I'm coming from of like, they're super chill. Also, I will say, because I was like just starting out, looking back at the photos, I don't like the way the photos look. I don't like how I did a lot of things that day. But again, I'm like, cut yourself some slack. Like,
also for $800, like, now that we are in the industry and we understand that this person just randomly asked a random guy who asked a random girl for $800 for 4 hours, like, they should not have been really expecting much from you.
No, literally. So that's just it on the day. Everyone was super nice to me and like, okay, cool. And I just walked away. Cole and I were dating at the time, and I just remember calling him, and I was like, this was so weird. Just so weird. I can't believe I found myself in this scenario. And, like, some things that, like, happened, I was, like, texting Jenna, and Jenna was like, again, like, this is after the being left behind by the first, like, the lead shooter. And she's like, why do these things happen to you? And I was like, I don't know. Like, this is so weird. So because I didn't send a contract, I had no timeline. So literally the next week they're harassing me of like, where are the photos? Where are the photos? Where are the photos?
It's the mom.
Yes, it's always the mom. And I am just like saying to Nicole, like, I don't have a contract, so I might as well just speed run this and like get them to them as soon as possible. I probably turn it around in a month. And again, it's like maybe even weeks because it was only 4 hours. And so I sent them off after the mom harassing. She texts me and is like, oh my gosh, I love them. Thank you so much. Or I think I actually sent them, and then she texted me like 2 days later and was like, where are the photos? And I was like, I sent them to you to the email that you approved like days ago. And she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't see them. Oh, I love them so much. Like, thank you. Like, we love them. And I was like, okay. Oh.
Potential spam, always.
Lovely. And like sent me this like long text saying like, thank you so much. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. You're welcome. The next morning I wake up it was at 5 a.m. She was like blowing up my phone to text being like, these photos look ridiculous. These photos are trash. I need my money back. I will sue you. I will take you to small claims court.
I'm coming for everything you have.
Literally. And I am like bawling my eyes out. The first photographer, I will 1,000%. Oh, actually, I posted it on TikTok. And
yes, you did.
It got like a little bit of traction. But so I'll like post the TikTok, and I'm sure it explains it better than I am right now. But it has screenshots and everything because just her like grammar is off. And I found out at one point she was like screenshotting or like copying what the bride, like what her daughter was saying to her and sending it to me because I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why is she saying like this? And every single complaint was, our feet are cut off. And I was like, why do you care about your feet? It would just be like a regular horizontal family photo. And she's like, you can't even see our feet in it.
She's like, I spent $50 on these heels.
Literally. And maybe if I'm feeling like generous, I'll show the photos because again, it's not a reflection of my work now. You can just
blow out their faces too.
Well, yeah, I just don't like the edit either.
Yeah.
But yeah. In short, I talked to the photographer that put me in touch with them, and he was like, do you have a website yet? And I was like, no. And he was like, she came to me and was like, because she reached out to him and was like, you put me in touch with this girl and like, this is crap. Also, remember the mom the day before was like, these are wonderful. Thank you so much. It wasn't until her daughter said something that she was like, yeah, F her. Like, she sucks.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's so hard in the moment to like, I guess, really know what you're looking for. But it's like, if the feet thing was so important, like, you specify those things beforehand. Like, that's something that I'm really big about is like, I will take whatever photos you really want.
If you just want photos of feet.
You need to tell me what they are.
Yeah.
Like, you need to tell me that your grandma's picture is going to be on the table and you need a photo of it because your grandpa will love that. Like, just tell me and I'll do it. I don't care. Just tell me you want the feet in the photos.
Just tell me you want the feet in the photos. And she gave nothing. So then finally, like, the bride starts texting me and she's like, how are we going to solve this? And I was just like, no contract exists. I don't have a business. Like, I'm just some girl.
Yeah, it's not like you can slander my name.
Yeah, and you live in California. Like, you're not even... So, like, once I talked to, like, the main photographer, he was like, you have nothing to worry about. And he had talked to the mom, and she was like, well, what should I do? And he was like, oh, man, well, what does it say in your contract? And she was like, well, we didn't sign a contract. And he's like, then I don't think there's anything you can do. She delivered on her end of the bargain. She delivered photos. All photography is subjective. You just don't like them. So I will post the screenshots because the way that this woman talks to me and the way that I reacted is flawless. And like, I'm perfect because I ended up sending just the raw photos. She's like, the bride was like, can you just send us the raw photos? And like, and then once I did she was like, wait, I don't know how to download them. And I was like, incredible. Not my problem. Like, yeah, not my problem. You have caused me so much trauma and heartache. Like, get out of my face. I never want to see you again. And the mom, or after I delivered the raw photos, I texted the mom and I was like, I hope that you never speak to people like this again, that you like hurt. I'm 22 years old and the way that you degraded me and spoke down to me was ridiculous, and like, just be better next time. And she responded and was like, I am a Christian woman. I never said anything to you that like I wouldn't like, and I blocked her.
Good. Jeez. And you never heard from them again?
Never heard from them again.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. But literally, I, outside of that, have had pretty positive experiences since then. But that first season, I was like, why do
everyone?
Why
honestly.
did I? Like, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Literally, like, getting into the wedding industry, like breaking into it is the hardest part. And then once you establish yourself and people are liking you, it gets so much easier. But it's rough.
It is rough. All right, you go, and then we'll jump to these stories.
So I keep asking Tanner, I'm like, can you think of like a really like crazy thing that's happened? And he's like, besides like all of the girls like always being obsessed with him and like flirting with him, asking him out, touching him inappropriately at weddings, there hasn't been like things that have specifically been like, this was horrible, like this really bad thing happened. But what was the one thing I was gonna share? Oh, well, the one thing that was really weird that happened was whenever we were when I was super pregnant, and I shared this on my solo episode, whenever a random 40-year-old man just came up and kissed my belly. Yeah. Lips on my belly. That was weird. And then this like wasn't, I guess, like necessarily a horror story, but a few years ago we shot a wedding. I may have shared this on the podcast before. Mm-hmm. We shot a wedding where like the couple just genuinely hated each other. Yeah. Like they just acted so like, you know how sometimes you'll be shooting a couple, they'll be like, no, don't do that. Like, you know, and it's just like a little thing. These people were literally like, do we have to do this? And like genuinely, I would be like, okay, like bring your noses together. And they'd be like, And like their faces
You're like,
like
"Are you
were not
happy?"
even happy in the photos. Like the whole entire wedding, they were just like, I do. And it was just so strange. And I was like,
What's going on
what's
here?
going on? Eventually I come to find out like he was cheating on her until like she found out a week before the wedding, but they decided to still go through with it, blah, blah, blah. All of this to say, me and Tanner were just like, what the heck? And then like 2 weeks later, she's like, you don't have to send us anything. Like, we're breaking up. And we were like, I mean, are you sure? Like, you paid us for this? And she's like, no.
You never sent photos. I know Tanner never did the video.
I sent photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at that point, I was a super fast editor, so I had already sent them.
But she was like, don't work on that video.
Don't worry about it.
Because wasn't Tanner even like, how am I going to make this look happy?
Yeah, I think he may have ended up just like sending the raw footage just like in case they wanted it. Because he's like, I don't want to like this to come back on me somehow.
1,000%. Be like, you breached your contract. We got back together. Where's our wedding video?
Exactly. So I think we ended up like sending them something, but that was definitely like a weird situation. And then of course, like, again, when you first get into the industry, like you definitely come upon odd situations that are just like, you know, weird family members, whatever it might be. But there's nothing that stands out to me that I'm like, this was horrible.
Yeah.
But oh wait, one more thing. One time I was a guest at a wedding though for my friend who honestly might listen to this podcast. And to this day, I feel terrible for her, but her husband was sick. And he couldn't come.
I do remember that story.
He was in the hospital.
That's
and
awful.
They were like, okay, we're like still gonna do. They didn't do the ceremony, but they did like
the reception.
The reception, because it was at this beautiful venue. Like all the food was made, everything was set up, it was ready to go. She was in her dress, all her bridesmaids, all the groomsmen were there. Like the families were there, and they were just like, we're just starting with cocktail hour. Just like enjoy yourselves. And then when the reception began, she like did the cake cutting
by
like,
herself
with her bridesmaids.
Oh.
And like the first dance, she like danced with like each of the groomsmen, and it was just like, I don't know.
What would you have done? That's awful.
I know, but then so we left early because it was just like a strange vibe, and there is a picture. I'm assuming this is even after like the photographer left, because the photographer was there to do like all the details, like get everything. And apparently he did show up at the very end, because there's like a picture of them dancing.
Yeah.
Like at the end. And then they ended up like redoing all their photos.
Okay.
And so I think it kind of blends together.
Slightly.
Like there's the photos of her with her bridesmaids, like the room and everything. Then there's their portrait. So it's like, and they did photos at their venue too. So it's like,
you can piece together a day from that.
Yeah. But it still like sucked for them. But that was just
How
terrible.
sick are we talking?
I don't know. Tanner was like, they could wheel me in on a stretcher.
Literally. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if I am throwing up and pooping 24/7, then get me a freaking bucket. I'm standing at that altar on a toilet.
I'm trying to think, like, there's probably been, like, have you ever been sick enough that you're like, if it was my wedding day, I couldn't go? Has anything ever happened to you where you're like, this is bad enough, I could not attend my own wedding?
I don't think so.
Really?
I feel like I don't get like severely sick. Like the first day of my period is like pretty debilitating, but even then sometimes I'm like, I'll be at work already and then I'm just like, oh, like maybe I should go home. Like, but anytime I'm like, I don't know, I just don't throw up or like anything.
What about
like
when
that.
you like threw out your back?
Oh.
Could you have done a wedding day then?
That it would have been tough. I probably would have been like, all right, give me any painkiller that you can, and I will at least. I think I could have stood at the altar for however long, the shortest ceremony, and then just done the rest of the like,
in a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair.
All your wedding photos in a wheelchair. They're like, Cole, oh my God, you married a girl in a wheelchair. And it's like, no, it's just that day.
No, just that day.
The chiropractor couldn't fit her in, so
naturally, yeah. Gone to the chiropractor, day of painkillers. Like,
yeah.
Your worst day of endo, do you think you could have?
No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Like, I couldn't see. I would be so sick. I would be blacked out. So that was actually a huge fear of mine before my wedding, because that was my worst point with endo, was right before my wedding.
Oh,
and
God.
I actually ended up going to the doctor because I was supposed to get my period like on my wedding day.
And you're like, nope.
I went to the doctor. This is probably so unhealthy, but at the time I didn't care. They gave me like a pill to like delay my period, basically. I don't know if it was some form of birth control.
I was gonna say, was it like 1 month of birth control, or
it was just one pill? Oh. Who knows what was in that?
I think I might have even said this before. I got so lucky where it was like the week before my wedding, I had my period,
and then your honeymoon,
and then my honeymoon and everything. I was like, literally, I remember since I was a kid thinking about that, like, but what would I do? Because I mean, also when you're in like middle school, I feel like you bleed through like often. Oh my gosh. And so I was like, well, what would I do on my wedding day? It would be so embarrassing to have like blood on my dress.
You're like, there's no other option. I would have blood on my dress. It's also like, obviously, like almost just more important if you wait till marriage that you don't have your period. But like if someone was like, you know, sleeping with the person forever, it's like, well, I have my period today, sorry. And then it doesn't matter. But like for both of us, since we waited, we're like, I cannot have this going on.
This will not be happening.
Okay.
Let's jump
into these stories. We've been talking too long. We'll just go back and forth and read some.
Okay.
This is you guys' wedding day horror stories. And a lot of people sent them in. So,
and some of them are long.
Do you want to read all of them or just like pick out ones that we like?
I don't know. If we could read all of them, that'd be fun. But some of these are longies.
Okay, some of them we'll just read and not react to. Do you think they're in the same order?
I think so.
Holy shiz. Okay, I'll start. My mom, second shooter, gets pulled into the craziest situations always. So cute that your mom's your second shooter. She once had to leave right after the ceremony to get into the bride's hotel room because the bride forgot the marriage certificate.
The job of a second shooter,
is always doing that stuff.
Always doing the most random stuff. Like, and I honestly love it. Like, I will be sometimes wearing the bride's ring, like while we're like, if I get pulled into
wearing the bride's dress,
and I'm like, here I am. You needed a model. But like, and then like you're wearing it during details and like, so you don't want to lose it. But then they're like, hey, could you actually come over here? And you're just like, yeah, like the most random stuff. But so I relate to that a lot. 2.5 cocktail hour in all caps.
2.5 hour.
2.5 hour cocktail hour. What the heck was I supposed to take pictures of after an hour?
In my opinion, you need about 10 minutes of pictures of cocktail hour.
Mm-hmm. What is happening? Like
mingling, take some pictures of the details, take some pictures of food. That's all you need.
Yeah, get in, get out, and settle down.
That happened to me and Peter one time. And it was like this outdoor venue. I'm not kidding. The cocktail hour, yes. The cocktail hour is literally 3 hours long. I'm not joking.
Why?
And we went and sat in our car, and it was air conditioned, and we brought the snacks in, and like we could see the venue, so we could see like right there. So we're like, here we are, and we literally just both went on our phones with the AC on, and we were just like,
crazy. Like it was literally plotted for 3 hours. So
yep.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Groom went to the bathroom and peed on his suit 2 minutes before ceremony time.
How?
Okay. In the last episode, whenever someone was like, do you think it's normal for your husband to pee on the floor around the toilet? And we were both like, absolutely not. Then I put it on the stories.
I was like, did Tanner say?
No. I mean, I would see if he did.
Yeah.
People voted. It's normal. People I know that are men.
Ew, what?
You guys are disgusting.
Disgusting. I hate that. I hate that so much because I'm the person that likes the toilet seat closed too. So if it's like, if the toilet seat's up and there's dribbles everywhere, I'm not okay.
They're not even saying it's on the seat. It's also on the floor.
Ew.
This guy, the groom that peed on himself, is the same guy that pees on the floor, apparently.
He's like, it just like, just shake it out more.
Just slipped out.
Okay. My sister got married recently and wouldn't accept the reality of the weather forecast. Same. We're having an outdoor ceremony, she said. Set up all the chairs, and I'm convinced my sister wrote this about me. Set up all the chairs in the clearing in the woods, she said. I even borrowed an expensive speaker from a friend for them to use, and she said, set it up. I'm getting married outside even if it pours. And pour it did. And we got soaked, and we had to move everything inside anyways. It was miserable for a while, but at the end of the day, she was happy, and I guess that's all that matters.
That's literally about you.
Yeah, it literally is about me. I also know the second one because I was there. Sorry, I was just looking ahead.
I also know about this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I will never forget. I was so mad at my mom in this moment because she was like all day. The weather was like, will it rain? Will it not? It rained a little bit. Now it stopped. Like, will it be raining by ceremony time? Who knows? And we were prepared for the rain. Like we got our DJ like a tent covering. We had a little band too, so we had canopies. Like, my aunt spent the first like 8 hours of my wedding day. Like, she woke up early and was going to every Big Lots and like getting tents and umbrellas. So the bridal party had umbrellas and everything. But yeah, my mom was like, okay. So like probably 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes before I walked down the aisle was like, so I think like maybe we should move the chairs underneath the tent. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, we are getting married over there. I don't care if it pours. And she was like, honey, like, that's so rude to your guests. Like, the seats are going to get all wet. And I said, grab some towels. I don't care.
Literally. And we've said this before, but it ended up being the best vibe. Everyone had matching black umbrellas. We all had matching clear umbrellas. Yeah. And it was just so, I loved it.
It did. It was beautiful. And like, it stopped just enough time like for us to kiss like and do our vows without umbrellas, and we were able to get some family photos in. It rained a little bit more during cocktail hour, but after that it was fine.
It was the best. I loved that vibe. Yeah. Loved that you guys went with it. So it was a double wedding day, Indian ceremony in the morning, Christian ceremony following. 14 hours of shooting all day. And before the first ceremony even happened, around 10 a.m., the couple's dog bites me as we were walking to the first location twice, one on each leg, breaking skin, and the couple barely even acknowledged it and both left scars.
Okay, so this is our friend, and I was the second shooter for this, and it was like in the like not even Philly area. I was in the Philly area, and they needed us there at 7 a.m. I had to leave Philly at like 5 a.m. to get there. And it was the longest day of my life. And we both were like, this day is no reflection on the photographer. Like, we were both so frustrated by the end of it. And she had a hotel room for us. And I was like, I'm so frustrated. I need the 3 hours to drive home and decompress. Mm-hmm. Like, this has been the longest day of my life. I hope she got paid quadruple, like what her regular rate is, because that was a long freaking day.
What breed was the dog? A Chihuahua?
A little rat dog, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, and I remember the like at least the bride and like maybe like the bride's parents being like, oh, stop that, stop. Oh my gosh, like, sorry, ignore him. And it was just like, square up, mother effer.
It's like, I'm literally bleeding.
But literally, they had a full-on Indian ceremony, food, and a whole like dinner, lunch, cocktail hour situation, and then everybody kind of went back to their hotels for a little bit and changed. She changed into like a traditional like
white dress, and then we went and freaking did it all over again. And that should be 2 different days.
It should be 2 different days. It was so long. It was beautiful, but it was so long.
They were probably exhausted more than you guys.
Absolutely. Oh, I forgot it was me. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me set the scene. Hilltop farm wedding. Everyone was being taken to the hilltop ceremony site by tractors and hay tractors. Bride was being brought up in a horse-drawn carriage. Sounds like your vibe. Thank you. That was your dream. Everyone was at the ceremony site. The groom and the groomsmen walked down the aisle, then the bridesmaid, and it was time for the bride to come in the carriage, but she wasn't there. We waited for 15 minutes after everybody had walked down the aisle until my second shooter went and asked the wedding planner what was happening. The planner responded, I have no clue. We lost connection with them right before the ceremony, and we have no clue if she's on her way or not. My sister-in-law? Second shooter. Oh, okay. Asked if she needed to go find the bride, to which the planner said yes. So my second shooter had to run down the hill. Again, this is the job of a second shooter. Yes. Had to run down the hill and find the bride just as they were rushing the horse carriage up the hill. The bride asked me how long everyone was waiting for her, and I didn't know what to tell her, but the groom told me to tell her the truth because he only felt like it had been maybe 5 minutes. When I told them that it was 15 and that everyone was waiting, they were shocked. God bless second shooters. They freaking men. Yeah, can you, like, not even just being 15 minutes late, but like for the ceremony to start, but just waiting for the bride.
And it's just like, you hear the music, everyone walks down, and everyone's just like, okay, here she comes.
And yeah, the anticipation, like I'm sure from the groom's end of like, I don't know if you did a first look or anything, but like, I'm about to see her. It's going to be this whole moment. And then you're just like, where the hell is she?
And you probably in that moment are like, is she standing me up at the altar?
Literally.
It's terrifying. Okay, this person, I'll read too because this one's short. Both my grandma and my husband's grandma wore white to my wedding. Let me just say, as a photographer, I have been seeing a lot more people wearing way too close to white dresses at weddings. Like white with like a little floral on it. And I'm like, stop this.
I was a second shooter maybe like a month ago at a wedding. A guest just wore white. I'll block out, I took a picture of it because I sent it to Jenna. I'll block out her face and post it because I was like, that is white. Like, that is a white dress. What are you doing?
Literally, what are you doing?
I don't understand.
Also, white with a floral print, not okay. White with stripes on it, not okay.
I'm guilty of the straps.
Really? You were white with stripes?
Yeah, I thought I told you that. Like, I wore white with stripes to a wedding. I don't think it's a big deal of whose it is, but it was a family wedding. And I asked my mom, I was like, is this fine? Like, does it feel weird? And she was like, no, you're fine. I was also 20, so.
Oh, I feel like the further, I will say, like, the grandma's wearing it, I feel like at least no one, not that anyone is wearing something in comparison to a wedding dress, but like no one's gonna like compare you to the grandma. But if it's like a hot young girl and she's wearing like a super white dress,
it's like, what are you
doing?
When my mom was on too, she said that her mother-in-law wore white to her wedding.
Maybe it's an old tradition we just don't know about. Okay, I'm gonna read one more. I was second shooting when I was a brand new baby. I'm guessing they meant to say brand new baby photographer. And the main photographer had me shooting the front of the altar and she was in the back.
Interesting.
Okay? Something happened. Oh, like she was at the front of the church. The other photographer was in the back of the church, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Something happened and my camera went black and I didn't know how to fix it. I could see the bride coming in the distance. Thank God it was the longest aisle I've ever seen in my life, and I ran back to her. She fixed it and I ran back. It was so embarrassing and scared the shiz out of me. There's
nothing more terrifying than, like, even this weekend when you were like, I thought, or I might need to, I don't know. I feel like we got lost in communication, but you're like, for family photos, I might like just have you take them because of like the flash situation. And I was like, Jenna, no. Jenna, please, no.
I know. I used to always carry my second camera on my hip because I was terrified of this happening to me. But now I just like have it in the room and I'm like, I always have a second shooter. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if something bad happens,
yeah, I mean, as far as like camera malfunction, like it happened to my lead shooter a couple weeks ago and her flash wasn't working. And she was like, give me your flash. And I was like, here you go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay. That's one scary thing about it.
So this one time I got asked to be in a wedding party last minute. Interesting. Only issue was I was recovering from basically being deathly ill after getting a virus from a mosquito while I was traveling. God. This story might sound familiar to you. Does it to you?
No. Oh, yes. I know who this is. Go ahead.
I basically spent the entire wedding under the threat of explosive diarrhea and almost missed/had to run out of the ceremony because of it. The bride was great though and told everyone to just run if I had to run.
That was me. I was the bride. This was a groomsman in our wedding.
Oh, that's right.
I totally forgot about that. That's so funny. Yeah, he was literally pooping all day. Yeah.
Okay. That's so funny.
We love you.
We love you.
Okay. Oh, goodness. This still brings back bad feelings. Our wedding photographer was, then the emoji of the slanty face. Terrible. They're like, it was so much photo and film.
What if the girl I told the story about, she was like,
I
found you.
We should have known that from our first Zoom meeting that she was late to because her charger broke. But I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes whenever people say stuff like that, I'm like, do people think badly of me? Because sometimes stuff like that happens to me where I'm like, oh, sorry, I have to put my baby down for a nap. Like,
oh, that's so different than charger broke.
Well, I will say this one time, this bride that I shot her wedding canceled her old photographer because she said she had to bring her child to their engagement photos. Like, something fell through. She had to bring the child. She's like, we're canceling on you. And then she's like, thank God we found you, because she was so unprofessional. And I'm like, do people think that? And I know the other photographer, she's extremely great, amazing photographer.
And just probably had to roll with the punches one day.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm like, people are harsh about some things because, sorry to the person that's writing this in, but the charger breaking, I wouldn't think that was a red flag, but hey, whatever. Okay. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Wedding day comes along. She's supposed to be there at 11. Didn't show up to 12 because her car broke down and she had to call her ex to come fix it. Yeah, she was telling me all this. Okay, whatever. Still forgave her because I wasn't letting anything ruin my day. We did some pics and she wasn't my favorite at this point, but nothing I can do now. Ceremony goes fine. We do some pics outside and head to the venue like we discussed. We only had 30 minutes for group photos, and these were the only photos we were going to have of the bridal party all together, and my husband and I, aside from the ceremony. She was 20 minutes late to this. Mind you, we only had 30 minutes blocked out for this, and she knew that. She finally arrived and slowly walked to where we were and said she took a wrong turn. Didn't even say sorry. At this point, I was so upset. We paid for second shooter too, but she was there, but was just standing there saying, she'll be here soon. Oh, they're like, can you take the pictures? Yeah. Eventually, my maid of honor posed us and asked her to take the pictures. She was so shy, though, and wouldn't pose us without the main girl there. Anywho,
it was probably her first time. Literally, this is like something that would happen to me. I'll be like, okay.
Anywho, she arrives and she's like, okay, let's do the champagne picture. And she's digging around in her bag. I start crying. Dramatic, I know, because in my head, in the moment, I was like, cool, I'm not going to have any good wedding photos. Don't worry, she didn't see me crying. And my maid of honor saw me and was like, what can we do? And I was like, I just want some traditional wedding pictures. I don't care about the props at this point. So my maid of honor was like, she just wants traditional pictures. We only have 10 minutes. And we got to work with my bridesmaids being amazing at hustling and moving quickly so we could get everything I wanted. We go inside and do the things. Cake cutting comes along and she's MIA. Love it. Heart emoji. Our DJ had to call on the speakers for her.
Oh my gosh.
After we ate and greeted everyone, we decided to get more pictures outside, just my husband and I, so we told her and she walked us out. On the way up the hill, she's talking to us and telling us about how her and her baby daddy are going through stuff. And also that doing weddings is like vacation for her because she gets time away from her kids.
You're like, babes, I didn't pay you for a vacation. This is not an all-inclusive here.
Love that for her. Also, a while after the wedding, one of my bridesmaids told me that during the cake cutting, she was back by the bar and was saying to the second shooter, I can't believe they chose a dry wedding. They need to loosen up. Bye, babe. Wedding photos came in late, but that was expected at this point. I wasn't a huge fan of the way she edited the photos. It wasn't what I asked for. I showed her from her portfolio that I liked, but it wasn't a huge deal. Bigger deal was we were missing a ton of shots. All the boys getting ready, first dance, family shots, etc. I let her know I noticed a ton were missing after a few days, and she was like, oh, sorry, I forgot to add a folder. Y'all, I'm not joking. It was 300 more pictures, and still there were some missing.
Oh my
When
gosh.
I asked about them, she said they didn't turn out. I was tempted to ask for money back, but we decided it wasn't worth it. We were able to laugh about it now, but for months I was regretting not seeing her first red flag on the Zoom meeting. So that's my horror story. Am I overreacting? No.
Not overreacting.
No. Unfortunately, I feel like one of those things happening is you can give them the benefit of the doubt. We've talked before about how we're terrified of if our car would break down or something like that. But it's if that happened, you better believe I'd be giving my all the rest of the day,
1,000%.
profusely apologizing, literally not even taking a second to take a drink. I'd be like, what do you need? I'm so sorry. Let's make up for the early time. Do you want to redo these photos?
Yeah. I had a shoot recently where my battery malfunctioned and I had no extra battery with me and Cole had to bring me one. And I was the entire time I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is so unprofessional. I'm so sorry. What can I do? Do you guys have it? And they were like, stop. You're fine. Stop it. And so I was like, okay. But if that happened on wedding day, I would be selling them my first child and be like, I'm so sorry.
Literally. That is so sad. I'm so sorry. And may I just suggest, a lot of people now will do a reshoot in their wedding outfits.
Yeah, that's true.
And
you can hire Solich Photo and Film for that.
I literally have had a bride that we shot their wedding before, but they've had family that even wasn't able to come to the wedding. this literally happened to one of my couples. One of their families wasn't able to travel in, and then they hired me again. They all got back in the outfits they wore.
Aww.
Literally back in their dress and suit and everything, and they redid the photos with the family.
That's a great idea.
You can always redo things with someone you really trust, and it's probably a lot more fun because it's not like a full wedding day.
And there's no stress behind it. Yeah, there are like some, I think, like family photos that like we missed because of weather, not because of our photographer. I am obsessed with our photographer and we had a great experience, but like it started raining again and I was like, this is probably good. And like looking back, Cole also wishes we had like more bridal party, but he's like we decided that.
It was so hard in the moment. Like we were just like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, like the time that was set out for that, we were just like, it's fine, we're just gonna go take like a few minutes for ourselves, or like it's fine, it's raining, like we're gonna go do this. But like then like our photographer had to pivot at like the drop of a hat. Like dinner started and I was like, you good, it's not raining, let's go. And like we got like a few shots and like we love everything we have, but we're all like, oh like dang, like that sucks a little bit. But
yeah, you are definitely valid in being upset, and yeah, I'm so very sorry to you.
So very sorry. Not very crazy, but for my wedding, I had a curated playlist of music I'd like to hear at the reception and a list specifically of songs not to play. For the first couple hours of the reception, our DJ played many of the songs I didn't like. However, they were a family friend and we didn't pay them, so I felt like I couldn't complain. They gave like more detail, so I don't know if I should say this.
They said who it is, and they said, Jenna, you might remember because you were there, but I specifically remember you asking me if you could tell the DJ I was upset. Thanks for being supportive. Oh, I didn't even remember I did that. Thanks, bestie. That happened at my wedding. I told them no line dances. Like I didn't want cha-cha slide or whatever. Yeah. And it's so funny because at my wedding, people were literally begging me, like, can I please ask for cha-cha slide? I'm like, why? And let me just be clear, like, my wedding, the dance floor was packed the entire night. No alcohol at the wedding. It was pure fun. And everyone was rioting the whole night. It was so fun. And then everyone was like, can we play cha-cha slide? I'm like, why do you need it?
Why do you need it?
If you're already vibing on the dance floor.
If it was dead, maybe we could throw some cha-cha slide in there to spice it up.
We didn't need the spice.
The cha-cha slide has never been used to spice anything up, for the record.
Except for middle-aged women.
Yes.
My uncle and aunt got married when I was 3 or 4. I was the ring bearer for the wedding. Everything went well until the reception. The adults asked me to dance with the flower girl for a cute photo op, which was fine by me. The flower girl, on the other hand, was disgusted by the idea of dancing with me. She threw a huge crying tantrum and my feelings were completely shattered. Thanks, flower girl. I don't remember who you are, but I remember the pain.
I love this. Is a male submitted.
We have 2 already, at least.
That's so funny. Thanks. I remembered the pain.
That's really sad because it's like, that's one of those things that's like an early wound.
Yes. And you're just like, you think I'm ugly? Oh my gosh. Okay. First time second shooting / being assistant at a wedding. 16 years old, to put it in perspective. Oh my gosh. I put it out on Facebook advertising as a second shooter for any Pittsburgh photographers and got a DM shortly after from a male photographer. He told me the date and details of the wedding and asked if I wanted to second shoot. And at the time, it seemed like an opportunity of a lifetime. So of course I took it. I couldn't even drive at this time, so I had my mom drive me the hour there, and my dad drive to pick me up the hour later. Or, well, you need to get the point. An hour drive. I was told I'd get paid from this also. Also, if this, which I will talk about this later, if this is the person I think it is, like, who, like, the film shockers that it's been scamming people, I will lose my mind because I also have a story about him. I was told I'd get paid from this also, so I planned on giving them any gas money towards it.
You're gonna give your parents gas money? That's so nice.
That's very sweet of you. When my parents like just take us anywhere in Florida, I'm like, this one's on you. Like,
everything's on you.
Everything's on you. That's how it works. I'm coming to see you. I get there and honestly just thought the vibes were off, but it was fine. The whole day was fine except from when we were meeting the couple together after they had seen each other, and they asked who I was, and the guy told them, well, while I was standing there, that I was just some girl. Oh my gosh, that I was just some girl he brought along. He's making caring oh my gosh, I'm so bad at speaking. He's making carry around all of his lighting and sandbags. First of all, another thing we need to talk about is how extra people are sometimes.
You want to know what I have on the wedding day? What I'm holding at each time? My camera with my flash on it. Mm. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
If you are setting up a lighting fixture thing outside or even inside, you need to reevaluate the trends, honey.
Mm-hmm. And he's not even, okay, to carry around the lighting, and he's not even paying me a single penny for it. I was obviously young and had no way out of the situation, so I had to deal with it and thought having the chance to photograph a wedding was worth it. I also had not been told that the location from getting ready to the ceremony was a drive. So I had to drive with him. Thank God the other assistant there came with us last minute. The wedding was fine. I left at my given time, hadn't been paid, which sucked, and brought it up to him again over text, mentioning I needed at least money for gas for my parents, which he Apple paid me, which was when he Apple paid me $10. A few months later, the assistant sent me a message asking, asking if I'd heard what happened to them. She then sent me the link to a news article. He was arrested for child sex crimes. Are you kidding me? Okay.
That's disgusting.
So the Film Shockers things, I don't mind saying the name just because it's all over like the Pittsburgh wedding community. This guy scams people. I don't know if this was him. I don't know if he was arrested for like sex crimes, but he was like charged, I think. Like that was like also on his list, but he just literally, he was a videographer. The wedding that I was left at, like when the lead shooter left, he was doing video, and he was like, oh, like you seem so good, like you know, I have a company, like, and we shoot everywhere, like you should come with. And
he was trying to get you to stay in a hotel room with him.
Yeah, he was like, if you like feel comfortable, like we can just share a hotel room, but if you don't, like I can get you your own. Just acting like he had so much money and he was traveling everywhere to shoot weddings. And I knew immediately, I was like, this guy's shady, I'm never responding to him. And then it was like all over the Pittsburgh like wedding community that he just wasn't delivering on videos, and then
it would be
he's
like
a predator.
years that he wouldn't give people their video.
Yeah, I wonder if the wedding I was at, if they ever got a video. I don't know. Disgusting. I'm so sorry.
I know who that was too. Okay, I don't know if this...
You can do the next one maybe.
Okay, yeah, I'll just skip that one. It seems like it's like a continuation. I was at a wedding where the officiant's symbols that he used to enhance his wedding ceremony message were a can of beans, cans of peanut butter, and Adidas pants. Just imagine cans of green beans and Adidas pants at the altar. The metaphors he was trying to draw up were even worse. Just like these jars of peanut butter, sometimes you'll want creamy while he'll want crunchy. Just like these Adidas pants, you need to be his comfortable place to land.
Ew.
He's not wrong, sweetie.
Jenna's like, honestly, based.
Honestly, the creamy makes sense.
What if it's salty and he wants sweet?
You gotta learn those.
You gotta learn. Okay. My husband threw up on his white pants while walking to the church for our ceremony because he was so hungover / still drunk from the night before. He had to trade pants with one of his groomsmen. Needless to say, he's now my ex-husband. Did not see that coming.
That's crazy.
Okay, should we pick out a few more?
We'll just go quick.
Okay.
The night before my best friend's wedding, we had a friend cater food for rehearsal dinner. At approximately 3 a.m., I woke up with the most fiery poops of my life. 15 minutes later, my husband woke up with the same thing. It was nonstop then for hours. I had to be at the venue at 8 a.m. to get ready. Around 6 a.m., the wedding party group chat started lighting up. The entire wedding party had intense diarrhea, including bride and groom. Needless to say, we were sipping on Pepto instead of mimosas and popping Imodium like candy. Side note, I was the maid of honor and my dress was a champagne color. I've never clenched so hard in my life as I did walking down that aisle.
Again, I could never ever imagine the night before a wedding eating like just carrots. I was just this also seems out of order, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm so confused.
Okay. I'm just so confused by how many parents still kiss their grown adult children on the lips. It's so weird to me. That's fair. Like I've seen a full embrace, long smooch. Mom's hand around the son's head, wrapped up tight, kissing on the lips. It was honestly more sensual than he would kiss his bride. That's disgusting.
God. I work for a catering company and we do weddings all over Lancaster County. One time we were at a venue that had 3 different venues in it. We had 2 events at the venue the same day. We were serving dinner and quickly realized we did not have enough food. Turns out half the food we were to have was at the other venue. We were driving trucks back and forth from venue to venue, getting the food we could. Some of the guests got what they ordered, but most of them got chicken tenders.
I ain't complaining.
Yeah. I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
Wedding food's getting a lot better, but most of the time,
A mom screamed at me and rolled her eyes for doing family portraits where the bride said it was okay to do family portraits because of, I know who this is, because of harsh light everywhere. It was perfectly normal in shaded location. Made me retake the grouping she wanted when the sun went down in the spot she wanted, then proceeded to blatantly point fingers and talk about me to other people throughout the night. Then a male guest ended up shaking his ass right on my head as I was kneeling down for photos during the reception. Probably the most disrespected I've ever felt as a vendor, and mother of the bride was just mean. Ooh, the mothers have the potential to make a wedding or break a wedding.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Nothing crazy dramatic, but a guest showed up late for the ceremony and wore all white. 2, I bought my bridesmaids dresses for my girls. They were cheap casual dresses and most of them actually did wear again. I'm not an attention-seeking person, but when it was my special time to get dressed, most of my bridesmaids were focused on sewing one girl into her dress because their zipper broke. Oddly enough, one of the other girls had a spare dress that she ordered because her first one didn't fit, and it happened to be the perfect size for the girl whose dress ripped, so it all worked out. Okay, should we skip ahead? Or skip ahead that one because you already told that story. Okay, wait, I'm gonna read this one. This was actually for your wedding, LOL, but I didn't try on my dress before the day of, and it was so short in the back, and my boobs kept falling out of it, so I probably accidentally flashed several people at your wedding.
Well, whose? Which one?
One of us.
I don't remember any of my bridesmaids.
Maybe it was like they were a guest. Said it was for your wedding. I don't know.
Okay. Hey guys, love the pod. So I recently got married in July of 2020, aka the COVID era, and had invited 400 people to my wedding. That's a horror story enough for most brides in that circumstance. A few weeks before my wedding, our governor opened the state to allow large gatherings. Because of the fear of from the pandemic, our guest numbers naturally dropped to 200 without us having to cut people out. We were elated that we could have our wedding, and I felt comfortable with the large gathering, having worked in the COVID ICU as a nurse and only being down to 1 patient as the pandemic, sorry, I keep losing my place, reached a lull over the summer months. However, 2 days before my wedding, I got a call from our venue stating that the governor had recalled his allowance for large gatherings and would only allow no more than 25 people and would fine those who didn't follow. That is a nightmare. I had to follow our venue's rules since it was a business and did not have any other option. Miraculously, the venue allowed us to keep our indoor barn reception since all the food was already purchased. This saved me a ton. With people already traveling long distances to come and no backup plans available. On the day of my wedding, I show up in my bridal suite at 9 a.m. and to start prepping for the day. I started feeling more and more anxious as I sat there and waited for my glam team to show up. I waited and waited for what seemed like forever. The bridesmaids started doing their own hair and makeup just so they could be ready, and I sat nervously, hoping my plans didn't have to get moved back, with pictures and special pre-wedding moments planned soon. 2 hours later, my hair and makeup team strolls in and states, there must have been some miscommunication with the time. The workers could feel
Why did you not call them like when they're like 15 minutes late?
Yeah, and just be like, are you on your way? The workers could feel the tension in the air as we were feeling anxious about having enough time to squeeze in everything before the wedding. They also felt very uncomfortable since the bridesmaids did not have masks on as they were in the getting ready room. Holy crap, this is so long. To make them feel more comfortable, I put my mask on and encouraged the other girls to do so as well if they wanted. My glam girl began to do with my hair and did an amazing job. However, as she started on my makeup, she expected me to keep my mask on and only wanted to put makeup on around my mask so I can finish the rest once they leave. What?
So you can do it yourself. I've heard people doing that during COVID. Like they would give you
I better be paying you half price then.
And you better be giving me instructions.
That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. At this point, the time crunch was getting more intense and I was filled with stress, more stress than I anticipated. As she finished my eye makeup, I began to cry and verbally shared about my worries on the makeup not looking complete and not having enough time for pictures. This stress with the mask on made me start to hyperventilate and get a headache. By the grace of God, this is so weird. She let me quickly take my mask off and finish the look so my skin all matched with the foundation and my look was complete. This day went from being a horror story to making us in the making to turning out to be the best day ever for us.
Oh my God. There's literally like 10 more long ones. We honestly might just have to do a second episode.
Should we just make next week part 2? Or just like another one, part 2 at some point? Okay. There's 30 responses. We probably literally have read 15 or 18. They're
all really long.
Yeah, and I want to get to all of them. It's just so
we gotta go to work.
Some of us gotta work around here, people.
Yeah. But okay, well, thanks for submitting those. We will get to the rest of them soon.
Yeah.
And
I have so much, like, I'm being filled with anxiety over that COVID one. I'm like, it's so intense, but we love all of our brides, and thank you for taking the time to write in your intense stories, and we love you all so much. Hopefully, I think this episode is supposed to go up in August, so hopefully by then, we're sending out some merch, baby. And so, again, as always, follow us on Instagram for all of the updates to stay in the loop.
If you want to submit another wedding horror story in the meantime that we will read,
now you have more time.
Yeah.
All right. We love you guys. I was going to say we'll see you soon. And we will talk to you later.
Bye. Bye.